Anyway, today I want to share with you something out of the holiday catalogue and some colours that I absolutely love, autumn colours. I know it's not autumn here, but I love autumn colours. They are my favourite shades. So I want to create something with those colours in mind with you today, with a little bit of blending, etc. So I'm going to flip you over and we're going to get started. Right, so, oops. Has been raining all day, but it's stopped now, thank goodness. But everyone in the house is having a lovely, lazy pajama day today. So it is one of those wonderful days that you can have and just do nothing. Now I'm just going to find the live on here so I can see. Here we go. Hi, Helen. Welcome, everybody. Right, so I am, as I say, going to be using the colours. Now, I'm just taking that down because you can hear me chatting. I'm using two stamp sets from the holiday catalogue. This beautiful autumn bundle, and I'm also going to be using some stamps and dies from this suite. These dies are just amazing. I don't know if you've seen them yet, but you get you get a stamp and you get the dies, and when you cut out, you get the negative image that's stitched. So you can do so much with them. They're fantastic. Really, really love them. So we will be doing something with them today, but first of all, we're going to do a little bit of blending. Hi, Lynette from Melbourne. How are you? How's Melbourne? Is it, oh yes, Melbourne's really been struggling with COVID, haven't they? It's really sad to hear all the staggering numbers, etc. I just hope that things start improving over there for everybody. I think you've all been in lockdown for quite a while now. Right, so the colours we're going to be using is Cajun Craze, Cinnamon Cider and Terracotta Tile. Just love these colours. Now I'm just going to get my mat, and this just is a great thing it's been well loved, as you can see, lots of colour on it, but it still works really, really well. This colour is from when I sprayed some alcohol and blends, I think it was, and that didn't come out. Okay, now I'm going to open these. And that's Cajun Craze. So I will go dark to light, and so I've got a piece of shimmery white here. Whoops. Now, normally I would actually tape this down and keep it flat, but I've cut it to size just because it saves me cutting it afterwards. I have pre-done one here just in case it goes haywire, but I usually do tape it down and make my piece a little bit bigger that I need to create so I can then trim. Okay, so we're going to start off with Cinnamon Cider. Now, when you're using your pads, when you're inking up your brayer, you just ink up in one direction. So you're just going in one direction. But when you are popping it onto your cardstock, as I said, this is shimmery white, you can go backwards and forwards, that's fine. Now I always start off, because I don't want to have a blob, so I start off on the side of my page, and you're just rubbing backwards and forwards. Now you can just build up. I quite like brayers if you're wanting to create the colour, the blends quite quickly, because using brayers, it does go on fairly fast. But I'm actually really enjoying using the makeup brushes that are available now, not through Stampin' Art, but you can buy them online or anywhere really, and they are fantastic for getting a lovely smooth blend. But they do take a little bit longer to get used to, etc., and apply, and it's a build-up. But the same when you are applying any colour, you start off light and you build up to the colour that you want. this would be blending, one of my favourite things to do, I must admit. Absolutely love blending. You can get some amazing effects with blending. Now, this is the terracotta tile. So I'm going to swap that over to there. And you always run it down and go over the top of each colour so that you blend it in. So you do get a variation of the colour as it goes through, but that is absolutely perfect. That is what you want to happen. And then I always go back and redo it a bit. Hi Michelle, how are you? How's all your injuries? I hope you are recovering rapidly. Right, I've just gone back in with a bit of the Cajun craze again. And now I'm just going to go back a little bit with the cinnamon cider. Quite like that edge to be quite dark there. There we go. Let's pop those away before I make a mess. Now the other thing I'm going to do with this, I am going to spray. So I'm going to use a stencil. Now what I've done is grabbed one of these stencils and popped it. You can see I've used it. I was just practicing before with it. I haven't washed it yet because I thought I'd wait till I finish spraying again. So just make sure that's straight. And then all you need to do is get some isopropyl alcohol. I just got this at I think it was an Asian grocery store actually. And then you add a little bit into your spritzer. And then you also top up with some of our Frost White shimmer paint, or you can use the gold one if you want. I've used the Frost White for this. And you can pop in as much or as little as you like, depending on the look you want. I have sort of added a reasonable amount because I wanted it quite shimmery. And then it's because of the alcohols in it, it dries quite quickly. So let's just spray that. Give it a good shake because the shimmer does settle in the bottom. So you want to make sure you give it a good shake before you use it. Okay, so we're going to set that aside to dry while we put the rest of the card together. So I'll just take that off to show you. So that's what it looks like with the shimmer on it. I just love that effect. Okay, so let's pop that over there, and I'm going to pop that somewhere safe. I'm not going to knock it. The shimmer on there is just beautiful. Okay, that's over there now. Right, so the next thing I want to do is get the card base, etc., and we'll start popping it together. So I have got Thick Whisper White at 21 and 14.8, and then I have used another, it's a bit grubby but that doesn't matter, that's going to be covered up in a minute. I have used another piece of Whisper White, just ordinary Whisper White for this, and out of this die set, the Love of Leaves, I have used this embossing die just to add a bit of texture down the bottom here. And I am going to then frame the blended piece on the early espresso. So I will just start putting those together. Put the base to one side. So I'm just going to use a bit of glue. Put that there. Okay, so there's another trick with a punch that I'd like to show you. What I wanted to do on the top, once the piece is dried, I did want to use the squares from this postage stamp, but when I cut it out, it was a bit big. So I'm going to show you a trick that you can actually do to make it the size you want and still keep it the pattern. So I'm using Pool Party here. So you just punch it out, and then I actually marked mine. I figured out where I wanted it. I marked it, and then you feed it into so you go in like this on the punch. So don't feed it through here. You actually feed it through the top here. And I'll put that down so that I can do it. It's a little bit fiddly, but you just pop it in, and then you can vary the size that you want. And then you just, make sure it's straight. And then I've created more of a square, which is what I wanted. I wanted more of a square. So I then ran those through. They looked a little bit plain. So I then used this embossing folder, which comes with the warm hugs set. I think it's warm hug set, I'm pretty sure it is. It's little dots. I love these actually. These are quite effective. And I have run each one of these through the little dots. Now I did do some extra blending. And this you can see I did with the brushes, and it is a little bit smoother. And then I used that to die cut some of the leaf shapes that I wanted. So that's these. Now I do want to sponge these a little bit, so I will just sponge the edges with some early espresso. Oh, hi Linda, great tip, thank you. Yeah, it just means you get far more use out of your punch, doesn't it, if you can make the different sizes with it. Okay, so I'm just adding a little bit of sponge to the leaf. Just like adding that little bit of interest. There we go. So let's see how our piece is. Hopefully it's dry. It does dry quick because, as I say, the shimmer paint is in alcohol. So the alcohol evaporates and dries nice and quick. But I have got a backup here that is dry in case I am wrong and make a mess. So I'm just sponging that as well. Right. I'm going to now glue that on. Where did I put my glue? Put it back. So it's just another way that you can use your stencils. I must admit I love knowing lots of different ways to use one thing so that you get so much use out of different things. Okay, just hoping I'm not mucking it up there. Okay, so the next thing, I will pop my leaves on, and then those will go up on dimensionals. So I'm going to do one that way. I love the Pool Party mix with the autumn colours. I think they go really, really nice. So I just have to put a little bit of glue on because this is dotty. A bit like me, but dotty, and you've got to get you don't have as much surface area for gluing. And then this one, I'm going to go that way a little bit. There we go. So pop them over there. Now I'm going to use the Early Espresso suede ribbon. So let me just pop that over. And I will use my Stamp and Seal. Not sure actually I've embossed there, so it could be. I have noticed with your stamping seal that it only really works on the back of plain cardstock. If you've added ink or done embossing, anything like that, because you've sort of changed the surface of the card, it doesn't always work that well. Hopefully I've done that up far enough. So right. These are just bits that I had left over from something else, so it's always good to keep your extra bits, isn't it? So they always come in handy for something else. Right, dimensionals. Where are we? There you go. Oh no, I want the big ones. I want the big ones. Okay. Pop those on. So as I say, I absolutely love blending and creating my own backgrounds. It would be one of my favourite things to do. What would be your favourite things to do out there? Just it'd be good to know. Maybe I'll do that on my next live. If you've got anything that you particularly like to see. The trouble is this gets a bit messy. I've got the card all brown there, but that's all right. Pop that on there. Make sure I get it straight. It's hard when you can't. Don't know if you can hear that laughter. My son's got some friends over. Very excited. Okay, so I'm going to pop these up on dimensionals as well. Only need a couple. So no one's got any particular technique that they like. That is their favourite. I'm sure there's some things out there. Right. So I'm going to pop that one about there. Now when I pop these on normally, actually I usually put them in place before I put the dimensionals on. So I've skipped a step, but usually I would put them down like this and make sure that I've got them spaced evenly. Luckily there's plenty of space here for these, so watercolour background, embossed resistor, your favourite. I love blending colour by sponging. See, sponging, Helen, that's so clever because I've tried sponging and I end up with blobs. I cannot seem to get sponging without getting blobs on my project. So you'll have to tell me. That's why I end up using brayers or these makeup brushes. I find I don't get any big blobs on them. And I love watercolouring, absolutely love watercolouring and embossed resist, I must admit. Also some of my favourite things. Right, next I am going to pop this here. And I'm going to cut it down a bit. I'm not going to tie a bow with this. It's beautiful, soft, gorgeous ribbon, but it is a little bit harder to tie a bow with. And I'm going to add one of my absolute favourite items in the holiday catalogue. The little acorns, aren't they just beautiful? They're really solid as well. They are so gorgeous. Absolutely love them. And I'm going to use a little bit of linen thread. A staple in my kit, linen thread. Always cut a bit much, but that's all right. I'm just going to tie that on. Actually, I haven't tried this with this bit of ribbon, so if it doesn't look right, I'm just going to pull it out. Now, nails are wonderful, except when you try to do fine work, I find. Oops, I lost that one on the floor. pick it up later. All right. Just going to tie a bow. I'll tie a good knot first because of the weight of this acorn. Probably tie a double knot, I think. There we are. And then just adjust your bow. I quite like the linen thread tails to be quite long. They sit so nicely. And you just play with it until you've got it how you want it. There we are. So I might trim those down just a little bit. And so has anyone else been using those acorns? They're almost too good to use, aren't they, to give away on anything? They are just so gorgeous. Right, let's do the sentiment. Oh, actually, I'll stamp inside. Probably should have done that before. Now, I've decided to use the big leaf, and I will use Cajun Craze. Now, these are distinctive stamps, so they do look, not patchy is not the right word, but they do look as though they've got texture on them. That's the right word, texture, because that is what they are supposed to look like. So don't, when you stamp, think that you haven't stamped it right, because that is the look. So, and that's not, but it's okay. There must have been one of my hairs on there. Oh, goodness me. That's all right. I can sort that out later. And we're going to now do the sentiment. So what I thought I would do is, I've cut this out. I've been using, I just love these triple punches. This is the one in the holiday catalogue, and I've cut this out at 1.9 and the white piece at 1.3. And I am going to just stamp hello, and that is in early espresso. This is one of the stamps in the Love of Leaves. Now I'm just going to stamp it towards this end, because I'm only going to love blending colour by spot. Yes, I just pop that up there. So I want to do a little flag. So I love doing it upside down, make sure I get it in the middle, and make sure that I'm not chopping off my words if I've decided to do it quite close to the end. And early espresso. Okay. So I'm going to glue that onto there. So that's the beauty of this new punch. You get absolutely perfect mattes with it. You've got the 3 sizes, so it works out just wonderfully. So I want that to be about there. So I'm just going to cut. There we go. I'll pop that on some dimensionals. Where would we be without dimensionals, I must admit? Where would I be? I really do think it adds so much. And So blending and colouring can be a little bit messy, hence why I use that white blending pad. I just find it just means it keeps your mess contained, but it really, really is worth the effort, I feel. Okay. A little bit crooked. And then I have already cut out also from the paper that I had previously done. The black dimensionals, yes, they are so good, aren't they? So I'm going to pop that on there. I love having the choice now of black or white. So there's a gorgeous little acorn to match the acorn that I've popped on there. I'm going to pop that there. Now I did when I was looking for my ribbons and things. I don't know if it will. No, it is brass as well, but I think it's too light a brass. I was thinking of popping that down there, but I won't. I don't think that's good. Okay, so I am going to pop a couple of cinnamon cider stones on. I've used these quite a bit actually. These it was funny, cinnamon cider, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, when would I use that colour? But I've ended up actually using that colour quite a bit. It's funny when you see one sometimes and you think you wouldn't use it and end up it's being one of your most favourite. Okay, so one there, put one there, and there. Cover that little bit of blob that I had there. That's the good thing about embellishments, isn't it? You can cover up things. There we go. And done. So that is blending in the background using a stencil to bit of shimmery pattern onto your blended background, and using your punch in a different way. So I hope you have enjoyed today and learnt something new. I love the fact that everyone loves watercolouring and blending it in things as well, so certainly on the right track. If there ever is anything you want to see, please just message me. I'm more than happy to have an idea of what to share with you. So enjoy, and I really look forward to seeing you all again next week. Take care, have a fantastic week. Bye.